What's going on, Reapers? Devontae is Reaper Training, and I'm finally getting back into the female series. I know it's been a little while since the last video I posted up, but this is going to be the main and the most important video in the female series, their fitness goals. But this is going to be the most pertinent information that you guys are going to have to know as far as whatever you're trying to do with everything. That's because you guys have a hormone in your body that is as powerful to you as testosterone is to us, and that is estrogen. Estrogen is very, very useful if it's boosted or if it's balanced out pretty well, but it's also super detrimental. And the crazy thing is though, is that like the same way how we can gain a lot of weight or how we don't gain any muscle or how we're always tired and everything like that when our testosterone levels are low, it's the same effect for you guys when your estrogen levels are out of whack, except you guys have even more issues than we do when our testosterone is low. So get into it. What is estrogen? So estrogen, kind of like testosterone, estrogen basically helps upkeep female specific needs to your body. So your reproductive organs, menstrual cycles, things like that, all that is affected through estrogen. So estrogen is super important because if estrogen is unbalanced, girls tend to have a lot of issues. The girls will notice that they're having a hard time sleeping, they're getting headaches, irregular periods and things like that, vaginal dryness, weight gain can go up and down, and you can also have a very, very strong insulin resistance. And if you guys remember going back to when the channel first started, when I did a video on insulin, insulin is the most important hormone when it comes to burning fat. Well, second most important to testosterone and estrogen. And estrogen directly affects insulin, even though it's already strong in and of itself. So you guys can see where all the issues can kind of come from if your estrogen levels are kind of unbalanced, and where that can give you guys a lot of issues. So all these things are very, very detrimental to your fitness goals. It can kind of throw everything out of whack. And unfortunately, it's kind of the same way testosterone is with us. Some guys have high levels of testosterone, some guys have lower. The same with females. I just have a bit more issues with it also because it has a whole lot more symptoms than we do. The positive side is that even though a lot of doctors and things like that are going to tell you guys you need a whole bunch of pills and stuff like that, which they can help you with that also, but there's actually a lot of foods and things like that you can eat to help regulate your estrogen levels, and also the things that you're doing with your body on a day-to-day basis can also help with that. So as I touched on before, a lot of girls like to go to the gym, right, and they'll like to do 2-3 hours of like cardio and just be in there all day. And as I told you guys before, that builds up a lot of cortisol, but also it also affects your estrogen along with that. Exercise, of vigorous, too much exercise can actually throw off your estrogen balances completely. Now, kind of give you an idea why girls have so much of a hard time losing weight. Imagine if you already have this one hormone that's super strong called cortisol that shuts down all fat burning in your body if it's way too high, and that a lot of times brought about from people doing way too much cardio. Then you take that and you combine it with estrogen, which can throw off everything. The menstrual cycles, how you sleep, how you eat, your appetite, everything else. And you actually burning fat, and you kind of combine them together. It's like a master recipe for disaster almost, right? So that's why I tell you guys how you're working out is very, very important. Now, crazy thing is though, if you guys lift weights, kind of like how I spoke about in the last video, lifting weight can actually help balance out your estrogen levels with your testosterone, and it's also very, very helpful to positive hormone health in your body as a female. So if you are incorporating some good lifting techniques and not too much cardio, it's very, very possible that can help balance out your hormones altogether. On top of that, like I said, the foods that you eat, flaxseeds are super phenomenal for females, soybeans, and also getting the vitamins you need. Vitamin D and vitamin B are very crucial to the female estrogen levels being balanced. They're very, very crucial to what you're trying to do. Now, as I said before, understanding what your body is also important, because put you like this, right? Let's say you're endomorph, right? And you're a female endomorph. As I said before, female endomorphs, well, endomorphs in general have an insulin sensitivity. You're very sensitive to carbs. So any type of carbs you eat, your insulin shoots up and doesn't come down for some time, right? So if you combine the fact that somebody who is an endomorph also has estrogen issues, to where, you know, like I said, a lot of times you will know you really don't get any sleep at night, vaginal dryness, unexplained weight gains. This is all sorts of issues that come with estrogen levels being unbalanced. But if you have an endomorph who also has estrogen issues, and they don't know the type of workouts and stuff to do, so they're on top of that, they go into the gym and they're walking on a treadmill or jogging on a treadmill for like 2 hours at a time, so now the cortisol levels are super high. Or it's legitimately like a recipe for disaster. And this is why I kind of tell you guys have a lot more going against you than us, because we have to deal with testosterone, but for the most part it doesn't have, as long as we're not doing terrible with how we're training and how we're eating, it's a bit easier for men to lose and gain weight as opposed to females. So you guys have so many more things being factored at the same time. And the information out there that's being pushed by the fitness industry, or just in general, because a lot of fitness stuff is hearsay, is always not helpful. A lot of times it's detrimental to a lot of things that you're trying to do, because a lot of it isn't really based on fact, based on just word of mouth. So again, you guys want to be very, very careful on how you're carrying yourselves and how you're going about your fitness goals. I'm actually gonna give another video that is useful for women when they're trying to work out, good splits and things like that. I'm coming out with a program very, very soon that's going to be very specific for different body types of women and their circumstances, because you really have to take into account everything when it comes into fitness. There's hormones, you know, not for some people it's not that difficult. You know, a lot of times if you're somebody who just is trying to get into better shape or something like that, you may not have all these issues. It may not be that much of a problem. But for a lot of people, for girls who are super, super skinny and they can't gain any weight, for girls that are really big and they can't lose any weight, it's a lot more that goes into it sometimes than just stop eating so much. A lot of other things can be brought into the spectrum, but it can be simplified with just a few tweaks and a few changes in your diet and what you're doing in the gym. So hopefully this kind of gave you guys a little bit of an idea, some information that you may or may not have known. If I was talking too fast or something that you don't understand, definitely leave something in the comments and I'll try to touch on it again. It's a lot to condense in this one little video. I really glanced over a few things. If you do some research on it, you'll see there's a lot that goes into all this. But Devontae is Reba Training. Catch you next time.